Hello and welcome to a new video review, this time about the new tactical rifle scope from ZEISS, the LRP or Long Range Precision S3 4-25x50. The company ZEISS was founded in 1846 in Vienna, and they started with the production of microscopes. In 1892 they introduced their first rifle scope, and in 1907 they came out with the first variable magnification rifle scope with a 3x zoom factor magnification. The headquarters of ZEISS is in the south of Germany, in Oberkochen, and all their premium rifle scopes or hunting rifle scopes are made in Wetzlar. Today, ZEISS is one of the oldest and most recognizable brands in the field of sports optics. Now, the rifle scope I have here in front of me is a tactical rifle scope from ZEISS, the second series. The first is the S5, and this year they came out with the S3 series, which was mainly designed for long-range 22 long rifle shooting, but these scopes are tested even for the strongest calibers like the 50 BMG, mainly designed for 22 long rifle. And why? Because of the big elevation range which this scope has, but it is also perfectly designed for PRS-style shooting and ELR shooting with big calibers. So introduced 2023 at the IVA, the LRP, like the name suggests, is the long range precision. The scope comes with a 6x zoom factor magnification and is the second series of rifle scopes from ZEISS after the S5, which are designed for sports shooting, because all other rifle scopes from ZEISS are mainly designed for hunting. The scope, as you can see, it is completely made out of metal with only a small rubberized part here on the eyepiece. The temperature range where you can use the scope is from -25 degrees Celsius up to 56 degrees Celsius, and the entire scope is nitrogen purged and waterproof up to approximately 4 meters of depth. The scope is quite compact in size, with 340 millimeters in length, and it has 1040 grams, which is, I have to say, for a 50 millimeters objective lens, quite heavy. The magnification, as I said, goes from 4 times all the way to 25 times magnification, and the objective lens is 50 millimeters. Now, the outside diameter of the objective is 60 millimeters if you want to mount a clip-on or night vision device, or if you want to calculate the right height of your mount. Because the scope is very compact in size, I think the mounting of a clip-on device is very easy to use afterwards. The price of the scope is 2,400 euros, which is, I have to say, quite a reasonable price. It is not a very high price like the S5 series, even though it has a more times zoom factor magnification. What I was also very surprised about this scope, that it is made in Japan and not in Germany, as you would suggest from ZEISS, and the scope comes with a 10 years warranty. The reticle in this scope is positioned in the first focal plane, and you can get a mil version or a MOA version of the reticle. If you choose the mil version, the turrets come in mil, and in MOA, the turrets come in MOA. The scope I have here, as you can see here, is in 0.25 MOA per click, and both reticles in mil or in MOA, both are a Christmas tree style design. This is the mil version of the reticle, and in the next page is the MOA version of the reticle. As you can see here, the main reticle has thick lines and there are small dots for windage around the main reticle. The middle part of the reticle can be illuminated, which is a very strong illumination, and at biggest magnification the illumination is even strong that you can easily see it on a bright sunny day. The illumination features an automatic turn off feature, so if you don't use the illumination, after a few hours the illumination shuts off, and the scope recognizes that when the battery has low voltage, the illumination starts to flash, so that you immediately see the battery has to be changed. The illumination is in red and in green, which is perfect because some prefer red, some prefer green. And as you can see here, you can go in either direction. G stands for green and R stands for red illumination. And from both you have 5 intensity settings. Now it's on the 5, and between each setting there is an off position in between, and you can immediately switch from the strongest red to the strongest green also, so really nicely designed. The battery compartment is on the same turret, which is here, and for the operation you need only one CR2032 battery. On the same turret is also the parallax adjustment, which goes from 15 meters all the way to infinity, and as you could see, you have almost the entire revolution of the parallax available, so you can really easily fine-tune the parallax to your target, which is really well made. Now if you go to the construction, as I said, it is completely made out of metal. It features a European style eyepiece, so only this part rotates, and I have to say the eyepiece is very stiff, so you need quite a lot of force to make the adjustment, which is in my opinion perfect, because then it cannot happen that you accidentally move your position or your setting like this. So really well made. Then the magnification ring. The magnification goes from 4 to 25 in 180 degree turn, and you have a really nice grip on the magnification ring. And the scope features also these 3 small throw levers with, now they have small screws inside, but included in the box is a throw lever which can be screwed in any position you want. In these 3 positions, and then you have such a big throw lever for really easy and quick operation of the scope. So really a really well made piece made of aluminum. Then the main tube is 34 millimeters, and as I said, the outer diameter of the objective is 60 millimeters. Okay, now if we go to the turrets, this is, in my opinion, the special part of this riflescope, because the elevation of this riflescope is 160 MOA or 46.5 mil, which is really a lot. So you can very easily shoot at very long distances without the need of inclination or prism in front of the scope. What is also very special, I tried on this riflescope here, and the scope had 190 MOA of travel, which is just unbelievable with the scope with a 34 millimeters main tube. If you calculate this to mil, it's 55 mil of travel, so really a lot. The turrets are tactical. The elevation turret can be directly adjusted, and the windage turret has a locking function with a push and pull design, and the clicks on the turrets are very good. They are really crisp. You can easily make every single click, and they are very audible and tactile, so really nice clicks on the turrets. The turret has also a zero stop, which can be adjusted from the inside. I will show you later. And in one turn, the travel is 25 MOA, and on the mil version it's 10 mil per revolution. It is a multi-turn turret, so you can go multiple revolutions. And here under the turret, now you can see the lines in which rotation you are currently in. Personally, I prefer physical turn indicator, but because this scope has so many revolutions, I think they could not make it differently. So I think these lines are still very well visible, but due to the big elevation, I think the physical, it's not so easy to make, or not possible to make. The zeroing of this scope is also very easy. You get this Torx wrench included in the scope. You just have to unscrew or just loosen the 3 screws on the turret, and then the turret should go down easily. So this is now under the turret, and as you can see here, there are 2 small pins. Now they are not together because I did not go completely down with the turret, but when you come completely down, these 2 act as a zero stop. So let's say this would be now your 0 when you're on the range. Then you have to loosen additional 3 screws on this ring here. So this, and this screw, and then make that this ring touches the small pin underneath. When you tighten the 3 screws back in, your 0 stop is also set. So when you make the 0 stop, you just adjust the turret back on so that the 0 is facing forwards, and you just tighten the 3 screws back in, and then the turret should work again. The Windage turret, as I said, it has a locking function. What I personally don't like about the turret is that it is not completely fixed. You can see here it has a small wobbling on the turret. I think this could be done better in my opinion. But when the turret is outside, it is completely fixed and you feel no wobbling whatsoever. The turret has also nice clicks, very audible, even more like on the elevation turret. And what is also really nice about this turret is that you have a stop position when you come to 180 degree of the 0, so in this case 12 MOA, and the same is on the other side. So this means you cannot make an error of a whole revolution, because without this stop it would be a multi-turn turret, because the windage adjustment, the internal adjustment, is 60 MOA, or I think 17.5 mil of travel. So without this stop you would have a multi-turn turret, and you could easily make some errors with it. Now the zeroing of this turret is different. I can show you also this one. For zeroing of the windage turret, you have to unscrew this screw here, and then the entire turret comes down. And what is special now here is this ring here. This makes your clicks, and this is the pin which stops the turret to go further, so just 180 degrees in each direction. But this pin can be easily removed, and when you do that, then you have a multi-turn turret, so you have both options, which is really nice. In my opinion, perfect, because every user can choose how the scope should work for his personal needs. As you can see on this ring here, there is also this small pin which acts as a stop, and when you zero the windage turret, you have to look that this pin on this ring is completely on the opposite side of this ring. Then you have exactly half of a turn in each direction. It is the easiest way. If you look at the ring, here is the pin, and on the other side is a small hole. I just tried it so that the hole is where this pin is. Then you just put it on and then put the turret back on so that the 0 is facing towards the line, like this. And then you just have to screw the screw back in. So this is all you need to do when zeroing your Windage turret. And like this, you should have exactly half of a turn in each direction. So really a nice feature, and I really like it. Okay, now for the optical performance, the magnification 4-25, zoom factor 6 times, the field of view at 4 times magnification is 9.5 meters at 100 meters, and at 25 times it's 1.6 meters at 100 meters. The scope has no tunneling effect, and the light transmission is 90%. The eye relief, so distance to your eye, is from 80 to 90 millimeters, depending on the magnification. And I have to say the eye relief is very forgiving, so you can really move towards the scope or away and you still have a really nice picture. The eyebox at 4 times magnification, it's great. It is very forgiving and it's very easy to use at the smallest magnification, but at 25 times it's much more sensitive. It is still very easy to use the scope, but compared to 4 times it's much more sensitive. Now for the lenses, this scope features all the ZEISS coatings, like the T-Star coatings for improved image quality, and also the Lototech coatings for water repellent features. And all in all, it is a ZEISS product, so you have really great optical performance. The edge clarity is very good, and also the color accuracy is really good. What is also really interesting is that even on the smallest and on the highest elevation, the image quality is also very good, because mostly the best picture is only on the middle part of the elevation or windage, but on this scope it's also very good. The image on the smallest and highest elevation is not completely round anymore, which is perfectly acceptable and normal because you are so much out of the center of the middle tube, but at bigger magnification this is not even noticeable. Okay, now what do you get in the box? First of all, a cleaning cloth, bikini style lens covers, the small throw lever, zeroing key, user's guide, and some safety information. User's guide is very precisely made, very detail rich, and it comes in 4 languages: English, German, French and Spanish. Okay, now for a short summary. First of all, the positives. The first is the elevation range, which is just exceptional, and I still cannot believe that this is in a 34mm main tube rifle scope. Then the optical quality, as you would expect from ZEISS, it's great. The build quality is very good, except for the Windage turret, in my opinion, could be a bit better made. I like that the illumination comes in red and green, because some prefer red, some green. I like that the Windage has a locking feature. And lastly, the price, because 2,400 euros for a ZEISS product with many features and extremely big elevation range, I think it's a reasonable price, and especially if you consider that ZEISS is a European company, even though the scope is made in Japan. Where do I see room for improvements? First of all, it has no mechanical turn indicator, but as I said, it would be very difficult to do it with so many turns. The zeroing of the scope is a bit complicated because there are some much more easier ways on different rifle scopes. Then the eyebox at 25 times, it is not bad, but it is not the best, I would say, at 25. And lastly, on the Windage turret, this wobbling, I think this could really be made better. Okay, this was a short video review of the ZEISS Long Range Precision S3 4-25x50. If you have any additional questions, click the link below, and if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.